Modrinth, who doesn't love this plucky little upstart that hosts all your favorite mods, plugins, and so much more? Well, yes, not perfect, you have to admit that the style is just so much better than CurseForge, but now they have servers as well, and they're the top performer of the dozen or so servers I've been testing throughout the weeks? What's their secret? How can you, yes you, little Timmy, be as good as Modrinth? Well, step 1 is not to be Modrinth, as these servers are actually hosted by Pyro. And once again, I snagged the CEO of Pyro out of the basement where I usually keep all the people I've interviewed and set them back on the couch.
Hi, so my name is Ellie, I go by checksum online. I am the CEO of Pyro. I run the pretty much chaos that is the team behind this company.
Today on Little Pebbles, let's take a look under the hood of one of the fastest growing server hosts that actively is trying to watch their competition burn. Welcome to Pyro. If you're unaware or you live on Pluto, which is totally still a planet, you might have missed this banger of a tweet where Modrinth announced a partnership with an unheard of company by the name of Pyro to host servers on the same website where you download your mods and plugins from. With Pyro responding in kind, announcing the totally sane thing of just saying we had a baby with Modrinth. What kind of company did I just walk into? But how did this partnership even happen? Well, fairly simple, Pyro was looking for investors, and while yes, they did exist before this point, Pyro at the time was just another hosting company in a virtual sea of competition. And at this point, they already had forked a version of Pterodactyl over to use called Pyrodactyl. But this just wasn't enough, leading them to openly call out for anyone to get in touch with them for someone to start investing in Pyro. This led to Evan from Pyro initially wanting to be the middleman in trying to get Pyro connected to Makers Fund, another big investor in the space, but it turned out that things clicked so well in DMs that it just resulted in a far different route being taken.
Basically, Evan got a meeting with him in person over like a coffee shop. And over the span of an hour, we pitched the idea of like what we are and like what was happening. And Modrinth apparently has been wanting to do the servers platform for a really long time. Like a really long time. They contacted Bisect Hosting, they contacted Apex, they contacted everyone under the sun. It was just like everyone was providing subpar service. Nobody wanted to integrate with Modrinth. And when we started talking about how we do things, I guess a light bulb kind of lit up in his head because we kind of were the solution that he was looking for.
After that meeting, Pyro got around 1,000 USD and immediately got set to work ditching their Pterodactyl fork and creating a fully containerized hosting infrastructure, panel, and website fully from scratch in only 30 days, which is just nuts when you think about it. That's an entirely new software which in my opinion just looks awesome, with an integrated mods and plugins downloader and a problem fixer which just tells you when you forgot to add Fabric API to your Fabric server for less than $34 a day. And after 6 months of straight just pure development, they launched announcing the partnership in their, let's just say, unique way. The best part of this panel is that it's also just open source, with this server software also coming to open source later, but everything you see before you was made by them. Except for the billing, which you Stripe, and as we will touch in a little bit, was for the best. But we'll get back to that. After their announcement of Modrinth Servers now being available for beta, the community's reaction, as expected, for the tinderbox that is the Minecraft community on Twitter, was volatile. Everything from just questioning the capability of Pyro and the value of the service offered to its price was thrown at them. Once again showing that sometimes its community can be the absolute worst, but at the same time, it can be the absolute best, as it didn't stop them from trying. It fueled them to do even better.
I would say, on launch day, absolute shitstorm. Everyone thought Modrinth was selling out, this was just going to be another shitty summer host. Like, I'd say launch week, it was pretty bad. Because, as you can say, it's pretty volatile. It was incredibly demoralizing at first, because why are they so mad? Because we have made something so good, and most of the argument was like, oh, it's Modrinth, they're selling out, and I don't think so. This is the money that they get from this venture is going to bring so much more stability to the platform that it should just speak for itself.
However, in more recent times, the tide has somewhat changed, with people now realizing that, hey, this is actually a really good host for the price. And it has great support as well. And not to mention, when I originally reviewed Modrinth Servers a few weeks ago, it only scored second highest in my test due to the limitation of 2 vCores. After that, they saw my video and just said, nah, I'd win. And then proceeded to double everyone's vCore amount for free, almost tripling their performance, and again, with no extra cost for its existing users and new ones. Any company that changes things for the sake of their user experience without charging them is an A+ company in my book. Not to mention that Ellie herself still finds the time to do support to make sure that the customer experience is just as best as it can be. Though the support has been backed up in recent times just by the amount of people flooding in.
Yeah, in terms of growth, it's been very good. In terms of actual design, our time has been very limited. When our time consists pretty much every day of, okay, time to call up our data center providers, time to buy a new 192 gig node for like a lot of money. That's like all day. I'm going, right after this interview ends, I'm going to have to call another provider and be like, hey, we have like 60 gigabytes of RAM remaining. And that's not a joke, by the way. We're currently at 63 gigs of RAM remaining.
And by the end of our little chat, that 63 turned into 59, by the way. Servers are just flying off the shelves so fast that they're stuck in a perpetual loop of installing and deploying a server, only for them to run out the next day again and get a new server, and then just deploy it, and then get a new one, and deploy it. It's nuts. But that being said, are my servers even safe after Modrinth? Because, there has been the incident. I already covered the major points in this video here, and they have, since our interview, updated their large transparency report on their website, so you should watch that and read that if you want to know the full story. But in short, an internal member of the Pyro team, which has now been identified, sold the keys to the database and deployment program to someone else who just wanted to do some trolling. After renaming every file on the network to the N-word and messing around with some users' servers, Pyro identified the breach, fired the person responsible, and now are as safe as any other big host. And they made damn sure it will never happen again.
This was definitely a targeted attack on Pyro. I'll put that out there. It was absolutely targeted. Someone purposely targeted Pyro and purposely tried to hurt reputation. However, servers were not actually that affected. We had 3 users who were in total affected that we know, and 2 of which we were able to completely restore their servers. The only one we weren't able to restore was the person who made no backups. And to them, we gave them a full refund. And in response to what happened, we extended everyone, and I mean everyone's, from that announcement point, we extended them by 2 weeks, just for free. And like, it does suck that this happened, but now that we have all of this hindsight, the only thing this was a leak. There was never an exploit in their software, even though we so desperately tried to find one. The only thing we found was a outdated update specs endpoint, which allowed you to change server specification, and this endpoint was for some reason locked to the user. So the only thing you could do if you found that endpoint, and it's not documented either, if you found the endpoint, you'd be able to give yourself more RAM, which there might be some sneaky people out there who did that. Good job on you if you did that. But that endpoint doesn't exist anymore. I really don't care if you did that. If you did that, good on you. You deserve a gold medal.
And I do have more to say about this little breach in an upcoming video if you want to find out what I discovered around this whole debacle. Be sure to subscribe so you won't miss it. But hey, let's be real here for a second. What Pyro is doing here is somewhat important to the wider ecosystem as a whole, as most hosts are just content with using bad practices and hiding beneath the excuse that, hey, everyone else is doing it, why should I make a change and lose money? That's something that Pyro wants to change, as they are not actually that profitable at the moment.
I'm not going to call it any host in particular, but a lot of these hosts are very childish. They will say we never succeed. We'll never succeed. And I have no idea what they mean by that when we are turning 2 terabytes of RAM a week. Like, I think they need to wake up and realize that change is happening.
Now, don't get me wrong, they're still profitable, but user experience goes before that extra $1 a month. But with that being said, I think I've talked enough. Let's recap. So, Pyro then, or should I say Modrinth Servers, a fully custom host right on the same website you get your mods from. And it's important to mention right now, no, I was not paid to make this video. It's still my #1 recommended in the testing list if you want the best performance possible. And this host just really wants to make a change. Like, I got the vibe from Ellie just talking to her that she's passionate about what she's doing and what the team is doing. They deserve every penny that they get. And at every term, every piece of bad luck they have ever had, their first concern was always the consumer. And I got the feeling they will continue to do that practice into the future. And as a consumer rights activist, I can really say that this is the best host you could use. But with that being said, I was Lunar, you were very awesome, and I will see you next time when I don't cover any hosts, allegedly. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching this little video. It's a shorter one, it's a Monday upload. If you don't know, here we do interviews and I talk to developers, and then I have the full interview, which in this case with Ellie was 1 hour and 30 minutes long, which is on the Patreon for only $1 a month. If you want to support me, you can head over there, or you could also just support me on YouTube for $1 a month. You get early access to these videos. And yeah, so as you might have noticed, we're starting to upload on Monday and Friday. Mondays, the shorter or the non-Minecraft videos, and then Friday are the big production videos that me and Drowned are working on in the background. Kiz is also working on a video that's coming out relatively soon. That will be for patrons only for a few days, and then it will go live because it's a really special video that I really want people to know what they paid for. So thank you all again, and yeah, that's it. Bye-bye.